Yeah, I mean, and we
what is that?
I think somebody's phone.
Is that your phone?
I don't think it's mine. It's probably mine. It's probably my phone.
Dude, come turn your fucking phone off.
We're rolling. You can clap and go.
Dude, that was on point. Shit was on point, dude. You can tell we've been working together for 6 years. What's up, guys? Welcome to Spill the Beans. On this episode, I have my Director of Acquisitions, Nick Burton, with us. I'm up here in Cleveland, Ohio, spending some time with the team, and thought it would be awesome to sit down with him, talk a little bit about his story. He's got a pretty awesome story. He came to us as an intern, and then decided, he's like, I'm not going back. So he stayed with us. It kind of has elevated from sourcing single-family deals into the multifamily side, and now he's a nationally recognized Director of Acquisitions for our organization. So absolutely great mindset, a ton of fun. You guys are going to love this episode. As you watch it, please like, please subscribe, please share the episode when we're done here, and hit the notifications bell because we got a lot more Spill the Beans episodes coming every Sunday. All right, check it out. Burton, what's up, homie?
What's up, dude?
Dude, the haircut looks great.
Thank you.
Dude, it looks...
Year and a half in the making.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't date you, but I know that there's
someone out there.
Yeah, there's someone out there. Yo. All right, dude. So, Spill the Beans. It's been overdue. Well, long overdue. Let's start from the beginning. Maybe tell me about kind of the transition since you came on as an intern in 2015 and kind of where your head's been ever since.
First of all, I didn't know anything about real estate when we met. Didn't know what a mortgage was. Didn't know literally anything.
It was 2015.
Yeah, it was probably February of 15. I think we met maybe in March. It was right when Penelope, week before Penelope was born, I think.
Oh, okay.
2 weeks before. Is she born in March?
April. Yeah,
okay.
mid-April.
So, we met right before that. And then I came on. I sent you an email the next day. Said, hey, come intern. Clean your car, pick up your dog crap, whatever it is. And then I came here May 14th.
Everybody wants something, dude. And you were like, no, I'll cover my own expenses. I'll figure it out myself. Just teach me.
So I was an entrepreneurship major. And the classes you have to take for that, just in college in general, the prerequisites are
horrible.
What is it? I was taking I think I was taking a Nazi Germany class, because I had to or something. It was it was so bizarre. And then I met you end of junior year and decided I wasn't going to go back. So in my head, I'm like, how do you graduate being an entrepreneurship major?
Yeah.
If you graduate being an entrepreneurship major, you failed being an entrepreneur. So in my mind, figured it out. And grandparents, they might not think the same, but nowadays they've kind of come around to it a little bit.
It takes a little bit for them to warm up, right?
Yeah, so did that, and then it's just been wholesaling to flipping to small multi to big multi to...
What's been your favorite so far?
I do kind of miss going and seeing single family sometimes just because of the quirks
It's
everything.
Just so easy. You're just it's goofy.
It's easy, but you have no clue what to expect.
Yeah.
And I kind of like walking into something and just having no clue what's going to happen. But big multi, I really like, just because it's scalable. It's long term. It's long term stuff. It's the whole reason we got out of single families to not be transactional. And I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
That's good, dude. So I know. What was it, last summer? We were talking and you're like, dude, I want to go travel. I want to go and kind of see the world and do all this stuff. And I was like, well, shit, man. Mm-hmm. There's any time to do it. Let's do it now, right?
Yep.
So how's that been? Tell me a little bit about your strategy on traveling around. And
sure.
I mean, some people would call it nomadic. Others might call it homeless.
Yeah, I am technically homeless. I have no...
I mean, I'm not one to...
I have no mailing address.
Lean towards one way or the other, but,
I was 25, and I'm just like, I need to do something.
Yeah.
I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a wife. I don't got kids. That's all gonna come eventually, and I'm gonna wish I did something about it. And I was like, I can't do it now. Work's too much. I got too much going on here. I got to be at the office. I got to do this. And then COVID hit, and then I since I couldn't go home to my family in DC for 10 months, I decided to go home for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I stayed about like 45, 60 days and got an Airbnb there in Alexandria. And I was like real worried about it, everything at the office, what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. Nothing changed. Nothing changed at all after the 45 days. And I was like,
Isn't it funny how we all like put these standards and these thoughts in our head about like, oh, I'm needed at this, or they can't handle this without me, or I have to be there, or like, dude, it's the only limitations are the ones we set on ourselves. It's like, why couldn't you? You got cell phone, you got internet. I mean, shit, you can do the entire business from anywhere then.
I actually think I get more done now because I'm just 100% focused in the morning. And I wake up, I feel like I wake up earlier. I probably wake up at like 6, start working at like...
You do wake up early.
6:45, 7. And then I just grind out work. So it's a little bit different now that I'm here in Cleveland because I'm coming in the office and stuff. But I've done a month in a different city.
What'd you get so far?
Every month. I've done Houston, San Antonio, Denver, Salt Lake, Nashville. And back in...
Good cities, man.
Back in Cleveland for I was here for a month, but it's so nice that I was like, I'll just stay another month and get out right before the cold hits again. But in all these other cities, because I want to go see them and go explore and do new things and all this kind of stuff, I wake up, grind out work from like 7 a.m. till maybe 2, 3, and then I just go do stuff. I just go to new restaurants or bars or museums or wherever.
What are the budget? Like, I think that's really something cool that a lot of people be like, damn, I wish I could do that, right? Like, was it as, I don't know, as big of a hurdle in your head as you might have thought? Obviously, the work part, you're like, oh shit, well, I can do just as much over here. But what about like the logistics of picking cities and finding Airbnbs and how the cost of it, budgeting? What did all that look like?
It's fairly affordable. I would say on average, my Airbnb for a month. So you get massive discounts if you book for 30 days at a time. It's usually like 30 to 50% off the nightly rate of a regular Airbnb. And a lot of times if you message them and you're like, hey, I want to kind of get around some of these Airbnb fees, you can work things out because there's a lot of times where the Airbnb might be $2,000, but the fees might be $700. And you're just like, what the hell's going on? So on average, my Airbnbs have been around $2,000.
For the whole month?
For the month.
Damn, dude, that's great.
That does it. Now I get, the place is furnished. I'm there for a month, so I kind of have to clean.
You don't clean, dude. At some
point.
I know you. Yeah.
And a lot of times they have laundry there. So I have laundry, cooking, whatever I need to do. And a lot of times they might have like seasonings and oil, like just the little basic necessities that you would never think of.
That you don't have to worry about.
So it's around $2,000.
Yeah, they're furnishing like soap and body wash and like all that stuff, right?
So the most stressful part of it, I would say the only stressful part of it, is booking the next place without getting like too ahead of yourself or cutting yourself a little short. I'm kind of going through right now, like I'm not 100% sold where I want to go after Cleveland. But the longer I wait, the harder it is to get a good deal on Airbnb and stuff like that.
Or one night is booked and all of a sudden it screws up your entire month.
So I try to book 45 days in advance. That 45 or 60 days in advance. So like
Airbnb is mostly like last minute travelers or less than 60 days out, right? Yeah, but I think on the Airbnb stuff, you got a little bit
you need a budget for, you're going to go out to eat more. You're going to go to museums. You're going to drive around more. You're going to go to... I'm trying to go to a sporting event in every single city I go to.
That's cool.
So I collect bobbleheads. So I'm buying a bobblehead at every single event, like sporting event that I go to. And so far they've all had them. Like, I got one like minor league baseball in Nashville. I got one at the Predators game, the hockey game in Nashville. I've got them at the Utah Jazz game in Salt Lake.
Do you like write the year or the date or something that you got them?
No, I'll just remember.
You'll just remember, right.
It happened in 2021, I know that. At this point, I'm now looking, where do I kind of want to settle? I think I'd like to settle maybe for a year.
Really?
For next year. And then maybe the next year try to go international for the year. I'm between that and trying to build a house. So I'm kind of both sides of the coin right now.
Those are complete polar opposites.
I mean, I just want to build the man cave.
Well, I guess it's
I
one
just
of those
have no
things,
clue where I want to build
the
it.
grass is greener on the other side, like when you don't have it, like you want something. Dude, I want less houses now. I have all these friggin' houses, and I'm like, oh man, it's like more shit you gotta
I have no
manage.
houses. I have nowhere.
I know, dude, it's amazing. Yeah, I guess you need some sort of stability with some sort of, uncertainty mixed in,
I'm trying to avoid the cold.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be like insane humidity or insane heat too.
Dude, come to Charleston for a year. Or do like
So Charleston and DC are my top 2 right now for August, and I hear the humidity in August is like
it'll be balls hot and humid in
it's
Charleston in
just
August.
gonna kill you.
No, yeah, come in like late September. The water will still be warm, humidity will drop off a little bit, and like October's ideal, but the water starts getting a little bit cooler.
Yeah, leaning towards DC.
Dude, dude, in August, I'd go somewhere north, man. I'd go to Boston. Boston's an
I've looked
awesome
at Boston,
town. Maine.
like Vermont, Maine,
Vermont,
stuff like that. It's on the list. I think I'm gonna stay.
Like
I'm an East Coast
Wyoming.
kid. I went out west a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm an East Coast kid.
East Coast kid?
Yeah.
Dude, you should get a canoe and start in Pittsburgh and just ride a canoe down the Ohio River and then the Mississippi River for like 2 months.
That sounds like my actual hell. That sounds absolutely miserable.
Dude, I think if anybody could do it, you could do it.
I could absolutely do it. I could do better than you.
All right. Well, you go first, and then after you go, I'll compete, and I bet I'll do it better.
I could live on a houseboat though. That could be sweet. That's something. So my mom's from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And
That would be sweet.
I've looked at some houseboats over on the canals in Amsterdam.
Have you ever slept on a boat before?
Yeah. I've rented a houseboat on the canals in Amsterdam before.
Oh, okay.
And I'm fine with it. It's no big deal to me.
Some people get wonky.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah.
All right, dude. So, how much you like? So you can have a pretty good lifestyle. Stay in the downtown area for $2,000 a month. Get a furnished place.
Yeah.
Spend a little bit more on museums, events. Another $2-3 grand a month for food.
I think if you had like $5 or $6 grand, you could do it easily.
Really?
Like
If you were willing to budget
renting it.
$6,000 a month, you could have pretty much
You could do anything.
travel.
And I think I might spend a little bit more, but it's just because I don't really care right now.
You're rich, dude.
I'm
You're rich.
taking it
Thanks to
all.
me.
I'm taking it all in. But like $5-6 grand, especially if you cook. Like I've tried to cook a little bit more. I don't want to get fat. That's like the biggest thing. I've been fat before. I'm trying not to get fat again.
Yeah, you were fat.
And so cooking, I try to do at least a couple nights a week as much as I can.
Yeah. Or just eat a salad out, dude.
I don't eat salads.
Yeah, I don't eat salads either. It always sounds like a good idea. And then there's
It's
a
always
fried
disappointing.
chicken sandwich
Yeah.
on the menu, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh man, I gotta go that route.
Yeah.
And then like, oh man.
Yeah, $5-6 grand. Make sure you have like a decent car, I would say. If you have an SUV, that's probably better.
Buy one off of the Pimp My Ride from back in the MTV days or whatever.
With TVs in the headlights.
Yeah, dude. Like you just open up the back and there's mounted TVs everywhere. It'd be perfect. Dude.
I had a Pimp My Ride car once.
I'm gonna vicariously live through you. I'm gonna find an old, like a short school bus or something. We're gonna pimp it out, and you're just gonna go on escapades in it.
Dude, I'll do it.
I'm excited for that. All right, cool. All right, dude. No, that's good stuff. I think from a lifestyle perspective, it's awesome. I think it's really inspiring for people to see like, oh shit, like I don't have to make, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in order to go do this. I mean,
I know for a fact I would regret not doing it.
Oh, for sure.
That's one of my biggest things is I like two things. One, I want to always just, if it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, I want to do it. Mm-hmm. Like I went to the, when the Capitals won the Stanley Cup Game 5 in Vegas, I was at that game. Like I had to make sure I went to that. When the Nationals went to the World Series Game 7, got to. I wasn't, it was like, I think they played on, Game 7 was on Wednesday, Game 6 was on Tuesday, the day before. Mm-hmm. And at midnight, had no intention of going to the game. Out of all DC sports, baseball's probably my least since they came in like 05, 06. Wasn't going to the game, wasn't going to Houston for anything. And I'm like, let me just look how much prices to this are. Mm-hmm. I'm not going. Let me just look. And it was so cheap.
Inquiring.
It was so cheap for the flight and the ticket to the game. I would, and if I didn't, they were like $10 difference. One was $550, one was $560. The flight and the ticket.
So it was $1,100 total.
Yeah. If I didn't go to that and they won, I would never be able to live with myself. So I like doing that, and then when I was in Denver, I went hiking up in Boulder for the day.
Yeah.
And
did you go on the Flatirons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like one of the nicest hikes I've ever been on in my
That's
life.
cool. Did you climb the actual Flatiron? Like,
I did the whole thing.
Free solo it?
Not the trails, dude. I'm like,
I didn't try. But it was all ice.
Oh, man.
It was all ice, and I'm in like sneakers and stuff, and like.
I don't even know what else you would do. Would you wear boots? I guess with
everybody has like the
with spikes and
the
cleats
spikes
on them.
in it, yeah. But like going up, I got up in like an hour and a half. Coming down took me like 3 hours.
Really?
And I just like slid down on my ass like the whole time. But I got to the top, and there's like all these stoner guys up there, they're all smoking, and
you're like, I want in.
They're no, not for me. And I had to get back down the mountain still.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna die up here.
I got up there, and they're like, somebody always started talking. They're like, what do you like doing? Like, what do you do? What do you like doing? And I had this answer, which I was like, damn, that was a pretty good answer. I like doing what I haven't done. That's it. I like going places I haven't been, to cities. I like going to new restaurants. I try not to go to a same restaurant twice when I go to a new city. Unless it's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, blow your socks off. You take out a life insurance policy before you go there. Like, you have to get on a flight and go there kind of thing.
Well, I guess what's the balance between knowing something's good and going back for that something that's good
versus always trying new things?
Like, at what point? Because I know you rate food, you rate your meals,
Yeah.
you rate your drinks, you rate all this stuff.
If it's above a 9 on the Nick Burton scale,
A 9, really?
if
That's
it's
pretty
above
high.
a 9, the highest score I've ever given was with you.
Yeah, I know.
The Blueberry Cobbler at Mission Barbecue. I have nightmares and dreams about it every day.
And I think one of the other top threes was the burger down in Charleston, right? On Sullivan's Island, the Post?
Yeah, Post was really good. And then our dinner the other night down in
that was at
Charleston
Chop House, yeah.
Yeah.
That was definitely one of the top
It
3
was a
meals
whole
of my
meal.
entire
Yeah,
life.
whole meal.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, you know when you need to go back.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So, all right, if there's another steakhouse or going back to Hall's, which one do you do? Or the best seafood place you've ever had?
I don't like seafood, so.
Shit. The best barbecue place in Charleston or the best steak you've ever had? Which one do you do?
What was the first option?
The best barbecue place or the best steak you've ever had? Do
Probably-
you go
I'd
back
probably-
for the steak or do you try the new barbecue?
I would probably try a new place if I knew it was supposed to be.
I think I probably would too. Yeah. Good stuff, dude. So, no, I think it's cool for people to like realize and understand that. Again, you don't have to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Like, you're staying in some of the best locations, in awesome spots.
Yep.
Going to the best restaurants and really doing it up and spending $5,000 a month. You know, $6,000 a month maybe at max. And even if that's not within your budget, and you scale that back to $4,000. You know, you could probably still see some amazing sites and travel to some pretty cool places. So it's just cool to like see people doing it, right? Like, everybody talks about it. It's like on their bucket list, and you're like, shit, how old do you need to be before you actually go and do that stuff?
Sure.
And I remember reading a book. It was like, I don't know, 5 questions to ask yourself before you die or something like that. And one of the essentially morals or takeaways from that book was, at the end of their life, people regretted not the things that they did, they regretted the things that they didn't do, right? And it's like, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have traveled. I wish I would have tested out that restaurant. I wish I would have made that phone call, hiked that mountain, like whatever it was. And so I'm 100% in the same boat, man. I would rather try new stuff.
Yeah.
And if there's any inkling or tug at me about like, is this something that we should try out or something that we should do? And like, I will not let money or time or any of those things kind of get in my way.
It's funny, I just got chills thinking about it, because when I went on that entrepreneurship club trip, when I came and met you, I don't know what day it was, but the night before, I was not going because the trip cost $50. $50 to a college student is like a month and a half of going to bars.
Jed's behind the camera right now.
Yeah.
Jed and I would go to the bars. He's one of my best friends from college. And remember going to the bars and be like, if you spent like $20 at the bar, you'd be like, how shit-faced drunk did you get? Like, dude, they're tall boys, you know? Like, Like, dude, people would be, oh man. So like, yeah, $50 to a college kid is a
so
lot.
and I remember thinking
It's like a month's worth of drinking.
Yeah, it was like midnight. I'm like, if I can't spend $50 for something that could change my life, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And I spent $50, went, changed my life, and that was it.
It's wild, dude.
It.
That's wild. Yeah. And for anybody who doesn't know the story, like Nick came to Cleveland, interned with us. I sat down with him at Panera Bread in Independence. I remember him at the end of the summer and saying, hey man, did you get everything you wanted out of the internship? And do you need a letter of recommendation? And it was almost like from Wolf of Wall Street. He goes, I'm not going back. Ah! And he went bonkers and he was like, no, I'm just gonna stick around. I have no intent of going back. I was like, for the record, if your mom or your grandma asked, tell her I said that you should go back. But yeah, I mean, you really don't need any of that shit, right? So
it worked out.
No, it worked out. You know, you came on right when things were, you know, we had a little bit of a basis of understanding, and we had some things going on in business back in 15, and I was coming out of that other business partnership and stuff. But dude, there were some skinny times, right? Like there were some
times.
There were some times for sure. And like our office and the properties we would go to and the shootings at the properties that we owned, and oh man, we went through some stuff. It was kind of fun, right? It builds character.
We all stuck in there.
We did though.
We stuck in.
Everybody, I don't know if it's because we were smart and we were visionaries, or because we were dumb enough and didn't have another escape plan.
We're going with option one.
If anybody asks. Oh man, good stuff. So like, tell me what's going on in the real estate market. How come, or like what's going on with the deals that we have in the pipeline? What other deals are we looking for? How are we finding deals right now?
Yeah, people want a lot right now. I think we have to get creative with it. We have to do some kind of creative financing with it. Interest rates are too low. People can pay too much, more than what it's worth. Mm-hmm. I think things are cooling down a little bit. I think during COVID we thought things were going to really drop off, and I think they just raised a little bit. I think now they're cooling off a little bit.
Dude, think about what all these economists and speculators were saying. You know, like remember before COVID, everybody's like, the market's going to crash, the market's going to collapse. They were saying that since like 2018, right? And so like everything was hot in 15, got hotter in 16, got even hotter in 17, and then 18 was like bonkers. I remember going to masterminds and being like, the market's gonna collapse, the market's gonna collapse. Give it another year or 2 years, between 6 to 12 months, it's out. And then 19 got hotter, 20 COVID hits, and people are like, oh, this is the collapse, right?
Dude, economists, I've gone on this rant a lot lately. Economists, like stuff like that, saying it's gonna crash, it's like a weatherman.
Exactly, right?
They can be as right or wrong as they want. I'm telling you, they have the best gig of all time. They're never wrong. Yeah. They just get paid to say anything. Dude, it's going to be a 50% chance of rain.
Win
50% chance the market's going to crash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe the other 50% this year.
Yeah.
And dude, it's just, if you think about what people are saying, and they're like, oh, okay, well, the market's going to be good in let's call it February of 2020. People are like, oh, the market's going to be hot and everything's going to ride out and this and that, or it's going to be collapse. Dude, 100% of people were wrong by March 15th of 2020, right? And then people are talking, oh my gosh, the market's going to collapse and this is going to happen. And dude, we were prepared for it. We were like, dude, this could be a catalyst for just boatloads of properties coming online, and like, let's get ready to start buying some things. And it just didn't happen, right? And I remember, being on webinars and being on podcasts, and people everybody asking about the market. Mm-hmm. And dude, 100% of people were wrong on that too. Yeah. Nobody thought it would heat up to what it has become in 2021. It's remarkable, dude. So I think, dude, you just do good deals, right? A lot of people try to time the market. They try to be friggin' Nostradamus out there and tell you what's going to happen. It's not. Nobody knows, right? Mm-hmm. Even the most educated economists working for the friggin' federal government, we're all wrong, right? And dude, we hang out with, and we know all the biggest operators in the country, a lot of the biggest operators in the country, and like nobody knows which direction. So like, I think if there's a good deal, dude, you do the good deal, right? If there's a deal. And even if we got to pay for it, but it's a solid base hit, dude, base hits win baseball games, and I want to take it down, right? Like, debt is so cheap, and who knows? Inflation might occur, inflation might not occur. I think they're printing a lot of money. I think everything points in the direction that it should occur, but it also didn't occur after 2008 when they printed all that money, right? Because people actually have to spend the money, not only print cash, right? So you have to print the cash, and then all that cash has to be spent in order for inflation to occur. People saved, and so there wasn't really any inflation that incurred. There's appreciation that has occurred pretty considerably just because of supply and demand and stuff in the marketplace right now, and nobody was building homes or anything like that in the past like 10 years, and so now there's like a massive supply shortage. And then, you know, debt is so cheap, interest rates are so low that it's like free money, right? And so I don't know, dude, I just think if there's a good deal, we should take it down, you know, put long-term debt on it, ride it out, buy good assets, and you could take a look at any of the deals that we've done. Some of them that we thought were going to be grand slams were friggin' base hits or complete nightmares. Still made money, but a total headache. And there's other ones, like the storage down in Florida that we bought. We bought it, did almost nothing to it over the course of 2 years, and it just appraised for like $3 million more than what we bought it for. And we're going to refinance. And it's like, dude, at best I thought this thing was a base hit.
Yeah.
And now it's turning into a triple, almost a home run, you know? The Oklahoma deal, right? We tried walking away from that. I tried killing that deal, and that's going to turn into a solid double or triple, right?
Can't be killed, it's a good deal.
Dude,
you couldn't kill it.
Dude, I couldn't kill it. And so it's just, and then some of them that we thought were going to be grand slams, and I was going to walk away with, you know, $3 million, just my share of it, just ended up fizzling out. The investors got paid, I made no money, and we just sold it, right? So it's just, dude, it's interesting that even us being in the business, you know, we have the risk mitigation strategies and all the different pillars that we abide by. So no deal ends up being like a loss or a strikeout at least, but it's amazing, dude. We are some of the best operators in the entire country, and there's still things that can change and tweak in markets, and you know, you got to do the thing. You got to keep on buying at a wholesale price. You got to create appreciation. You cannot speculate on appreciation. You got to buy for cash flow. Stay in the good areas, you know, those like workforce type housing areas. Put good debt on the properties. Try to kill the deal. If you can't kill it, and then you know it's a good deal. Stress test all the numbers, because there's always going to be human error that comes in from the management side or from you know, local governments or whatever that ends up looking like. So there's just a lot of moving parts on that stuff that are outside of your control. So you got to control everything that you can, you know. So like, there's a lot of ways to mitigate the risk, and you know, just do the deal, do the best you can with the deal, control the things that you can control, and there's going to be other things that are outside of your control. But I think if you mitigate risk in all those different other ways, you're in pretty good shape. So tell me about like what's your mindset, what's your thought around the transition that we've made, obviously from smaller multi into mid-sized, you know, 50 units, 75 units, into like these 100-unit complexes and more. From an underwriting standpoint, due diligence standpoint, sourcing of the deal standpoint, what have you find have been like the nuances and hurdles that we've had to face?
More zeros, more people, I guess. That's really it.
It's not that more complex.
Not that much has changed. More commas, more tenants. That's about it. Our due diligence is a little bit, I mean,
you just got to get over like your own you know, questioning of like, oh, can I do this deal? Right? Your own lack of confidence in doing a big deal. But dude, it's no different.
I feel like we never even hit
200.
I feel like a lot of people hit that. I feel like we didn't really hit that. I think we just kind of just went for it,
dude. We just rolled.
Which
is a big. I mean, that's not something that we should even like gloss over. Like, what I have found is the biggest differentiator between successful people and unsuccessful people, or successful people and really successful people, is, dude, just their ability to think big. That's the greatest correlation. Not how fucking smart they are, not their educational level, not their access to capital or lack of access to capital, or their ingenuity or resourcefulness. Like, those things all play a part in it. But dude, like, the biggest correlation is the people who are like, yeah, I'm gonna go buy that building. I wish I could buy that one day. Well, like, we've always been like, well, why not us, right? We've always asked, why not us? If somebody else can do it, why couldn't we do it?
It's funny, like,
we don't let that shit get in our way.
I remember, I think you, me, it might have been you, me, like Fatty and Litzler. One day we were out at lunch, and you think bigger than probably anybody I know, and I caught you one day, and you were like, You're like my pupil. Like you've done it. Kind of. You said like you said something like
I can teach you no more.
You said something like the biggest landlord in the country owns
500,000 doors.
500,000 doors. Could you ever imagine getting to that? Or like, and I was like, yes, I can. And you're like, yeah.
There's nothing left to teach.
Yeah, we can. So, yeah.
Dude, we totally could. Like, it just becomes a game where you're buying packages of portfolios, right? Like, you're buying 6,000 doors at a time. All it is a bigger, it's more zeros, man.
Yeah, and I mean, you've called me a couple of times. I remember you came into the office one day and you're like, Nick, I'm thinking about buying a plane. And like, I'm usually the guy that gets all hyped up about your ideas, like of anybody else.
I need one of those in the office.
Yeah, and like I get hyped up. I just like ready, fire, aim kind of thing. Yeah. And you came in and you're like, Nick, I want to buy a plane. I'm like, Tim, you have some big ideas. This is the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my entire life. Like you've gone too far. You've lost it. And then you're like, but wait, we can charter it out this many hours. We can host this many meetings. We get this many hours of work done that we save, which will generate this much income. We can host it on masterminds. We can do it for events. We can do this and that. And at the end of it, I'm like, holy shit, we need a plane. We need a jet. Like, when are we going to go look at jets?
Yeah.
So
we're losing money. There's opportunity cost in not owning this jet by now.
Exactly.
I was sitting down with Mark Evans yesterday, and we were talking about the jet, and you know, there's some people who run these Turo businesses where they buy the awesome cars, and it's very fancy, and it's very like flashy. And I think you see some of those things and realize like, yeah, dude, you can't really move the needle that much, right? If you're looking for like a side gig, you got a full-time job, and you're trying to do something on the side, you want to own 1 or 2 or 4 fancy cars, yeah, you can make a couple $1,000s a month, but dude, it's not going to move the needle in a big way, right? Like buying apartment buildings, just staying focused on boring ass B-class apartment buildings is the way to really move the needle, to then go buy whatever freaking car you want.
Yeah.
And one of the things I have tried to dial back is like the crazy ideas, right? Like, we should try this, we should try
the object syndrome.
Yeah, a little bit of that. But I think there's some things that you can't pass up on. And I think if you can, you know, the mountain house, right? We see this mountain estate. It's on 53 acres, just like the most ridiculous timber frame, unbelievable views. It's like a mini Biltmore, right? And like, I see this thing, I was like, dude, there's no way. And for the price point that we were able to buy it for, I was like, there's no way we cannot not buy this, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have to buy it. It's just from a lifestyle perspective, and from, you know, we can monetize it through our events and stuff like that. And so like, we had to do that. And then I was looking for some acreage and stuff down in South Carolina, and the island popped up, and I was like, well, shit, dude, that's on my bucket list too. You know, like how do I pass up an island for $2.5 million that the seller's willing to finance, that already has a house on it, already has a dock on it, is already separately parceled off, it can be built on immediately. Like, it's just all that heavy lifting and the stuff that would have taken a lot of time is already done. And now we can get in there and we can go vertical on some new things in, you know, 2 months, 3 months, right? Just having it approved versus waiting 2 to 3 years and taking on all that risk ourselves.
Sure.
So like, it's, you know, I was sitting down with a hedge fund manager one time, or a dude who, you know, sold his company to a hedge fund, and his other buddy had a real estate trust that was like $2 billion worth of property. And he was telling me, he was like, there's going to be some properties in your portfolio that nobody wants to look at, and they generate great returns, right? But they're not exciting at all. And there's going to be some properties in your portfolio that need to be like the Santa Maria of your operation. It needs to be like the flagship and the front of the brochure cover, because it's such a beautiful property. But that property isn't going to make any money, right? It just needs to be able to attract people into the business. And then all these other properties that make up the majority of the portfolio that are not that exciting, those are the ones that actually make the money. And dude, the good news is we know how to make money on both of them. Like, we're not willing to just go and buy beautiful buildings just because we want to be able to put it on front of brochure. But we have cool things like the mountain house that has that wow factor, knowing that the B-class stuff is really what generates a lot of the money. But dude, we still make money. Like that mountain house, it'll be a 6 cap, right? Like, for a luxury property in the Carolinas that has long-term appreciation value and you know, pretty low holding cost, dude, a 6% cap rate and ability for us to use half of the year with our partners, it's like, that's a pretty damn good return, dude. And I think the island's going to be the same way. Or I'm very confident. I know we're working through all the numbers and we're looking at like highest and best use right now, but I think it's got the wow factor. It's going to be very usable. There's you know, the Hilton Head Airport is right there, and I don't know, it's probably 25 minutes away from the public boat access. Then take a 5-minute boat ride to the island. It's like, dude, those can be kind of those front of the brochure properties, I think, for us. And then all the B class stuff, that's just, dude, it's so boring because we've done it for so long. It's such a high level, and we know it inside and out. But it's cool to have some of these kind of flagship, exciting type deals going on. But at the same time, I'm not like trying to do any substantial amount of those. I think like the people who are doing Turo, and I think a lot of those things, although I'd love to own 10 luxury exotic cars. First of all, I'm in Cleveland part of the year, right? And people don't rent those kinds of cars in Cleveland. And even in Charleston, kind of. Maybe if you're in Miami or Tampa or you know, Boca or something like that, maybe that works out a little bit better. But I think it's just a distraction from doing the stuff that actually makes money over here. So, and then the same thing with the airplane. Like, I don't know, although I think we could justify it and we could make a lot of sense out of it, I'm not 100% there that we need it yet. I want to see kind of how the education plays out. I think we absolutely host some masterminds on there and do some really cool stuff. But I want to see like how the chartering industry kind of goes and some of those things. But I think if we went in on it with a couple other people, kind of split time and charter it out, I think it would make a lot of sense, right? I mean, how much do we spend on flights just to fly our team to 4 events per year? You know, it's, I don't know, tens of thousands, I don't know, 15 grand every single event on flights just for our team. So you're thinking like, well, dude, you can charter a jet and be the same price, especially if you own it. It could probably save you some money. And then going and checking out our propriety and going, not having to sit on a layover or any of that stuff. You start thinking about it and you're like,
getting you hyped up again, aren't I?
But am I trying to sell myself into it? You know, like I also don't want to do that. So, no, I think, you know, a jet, multi-million-dollar jet, that's not a quick decision to make. Sure. I think you just got to sit back on it and look at it. But no, I really like what we're doing in the portfolio. I think, you know, we're selling all the C-class stuff. We're selling all the smaller buildings. Anything that's problematic, we're getting off the books.
I think we're getting in really, really good shape.
Dude, we're getting super liquid.
I would say the next like 60, 90 days, we're going to be...
Oh, dude, it's going to be game over. Dude, and the other thing, like we've transacted a lot of buildings and stuff. And taken many buildings like full circle, but you know, or full cycle. But it takes 2 to 3 years to do a lot of that stuff. And so a lot of our investors that came in 2018 or 2019, you know, some of the buildings sat just because we didn't want to stir the pot during the whole COVID thing, and they took an extra 12 or 18 months or whatever, and we're refinancing a lot of those. But you know, they're all going full cycle. And dude, we're gonna have dozens and dozens of apartment buildings, like $5 to $20 million deals that we've taken full cycle. That's a hell of a Rolodex. Then go and get institutional capital and go and put our own investment fund together and be able to show a track record of execution on deal after deal after deal after deal on things we bought in the height of the market pre-COVID, sold post-COVID, and still made money on it. And I think what's important, like people see the real estate market as like super hot right now, and I think the residential is. But the investment side is still predicated based on the numbers. You know, it's like just because houses are selling for 20% more every 3 months, that's not happening in necessarily the investment side because it's all about dollars and decimals, right? Like what is the net operating income on this property? And so if you got a property that's not performing, you're not just going to be able to sell it and get top dollar from it just because the market's hot like you do in residential. It's totally different. It's much more, again, dollars and decimals oriented versus like emotionally driven like the residential market is. So it's
especially the bigger you go. We're going for bigger stuff now. Maybe like a 4-unit, 8-unit or something like that. You can probably get away with it. But 100 plus.
Yeah, it doesn't happen, dude. It's all about dollars and cents. If the dollars and cents don't make sense, or if the property's not performing, or if it needs a shitload of work, like there's still nobody's gonna pay top dollar for it. So like that's why it's important as we're selling properties that we maintained really, really good operations, and we're collecting more in rent post-COVID than we were pre-COVID, even with the eviction moratorium in place, because we punched this stuff in the face before it was able to punch us in the face. And I think we've done a really, really good job at that. And dude, we're selling our properties for top dollar, because they're performing. If they weren't, like, we wouldn't be selling for top dollar. And you're seeing that a little bit around. And I think there's going to be a little bit more of that pops up as people. It's going to depend on this eviction moratorium. I think some people have been able to float it for a little bit, but I think there's going to be some properties that are coming online just because, a lot of people got into the space that didn't really, they focused on raising money and finding deals, but neglected the operations side of thing. And dude, that's how you keep
That's
deals,
it. That's
right?
it. Like, the work doesn't. I have a fairly easy job. My job ain't that bad. I just don't have the mindset like Carlin.
He just loves it.
He loves it. I hate
it. He loves it.
Yeah.
Like I go up to him, I'm like, dude, I feel bad. Like, what can we do? He's like, no, dude, everything's good. I love it. Like, I love you, Carlin. What would you do if we didn't have Carlin? What would you want to, like, if we didn't already have, like I tell this to people all the time, if we didn't have operations built out, like
we would not be here.
Dude, we built
I don't know what I'd be doing.
Property management company from the ground up, dude, restructured that thing at least 3 times, right? We had to fire everybody at least twice, build it all out, and then we sold it, built it all in-house, put all the KPIs, Carlin did all this stuff, put all the SOPs in place, put together checklists for due diligence, all those different kinds of things over the course of many years, across many deals. And dude, if I was just getting started, dude, there's no chance I would do that. I would focus on sourcing deals or just raising money and then keeping a little piece of the equity and getting paid on that building for the next 30 years and letting somebody else who is a professional run that stuff. Like if anything ever happened with Carlin being like, dude, I'm done doing this shit, I would be like, we all are then.
I don't know where I would be.
Yeah. Business model change. Yeah. Right? Like we're gonna find and partner up with somebody else who's a great operator, and we're just gonna bring money to them and source some deals, because I think those are the lowest hanging fruit of things that you can do. Because the operations, dude, it's not easy, dude. There's a lot of moving parts on the operational side, and I think if you're a great operator, dude, don't sell yourself short, right? Like there's a lot of work that goes into the asset management, the property management, the project management. And I think people just kind of, the buzz and the excitement is just the raising the money and the finding the deals. And that's what gets everybody lit up on social media. But the reality is, man, the way that you keep and maintain your wealth and actually generate wealth is by the operation. So if you don't have that dialed in, either don't be in the business or find somebody who is. But how are we creatively looking at some deals now? Like how can we creatively structure it in order to pay kind of closer to what the seller's asking?
Yeah,
but still keeping our downside risk low.
Yeah, we have a couple different ways we're going at deals right now. We're going with a 3-offer LOI. That's kind of number one. So number one is first offer is we're paying a wholesale price. Mm-hmm. Offer 2 is
wholesale price, cash amount altogether.
Yeah. Yep. Same thing. 65.
Our traditional model.
Yeah. 65, 70 cents on the dollar. Offer 2 is seller will carry back 10% as an equity partner. We can pay a little bit more, probably around 80-ish% of stabilized value minus rehab. Mm-hmm. And then our third offer would be we can pay essentially retail for a stabilized building, so minus that rehab, and they have to hold back essentially
whatever the down payment would be.
So
depending on the market, it'd be somewhere between 20 to 30%.
Yeah, so they'd come in as an equity partner. We probably have to get transactional funding for a day, swap them out.
Buy the property, give them all the cash, they give us the cash back, pay back the transactional funding.
Yep.
And they contribute that cash essentially as equity into the deal. But you can give them 1% equity instead of having to give them
so they make a little bit more. They don't take as big a hit on taxes, stuff like that. So it makes a lot of sense to them if they're willing to stay in the deal for a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's number 1. And then 2 is the one we've been talking about a lot lately, is the depreciation, selling depreciation off in deals.
Yeah.
And getting creative with that. So
I think that's gonna be ninja, dude.
I think it is too.
Some cool stuff. I think there's gonna be a lot of copycats that come off of that, but that's cool. Wait until you guys see some of the ways that we're structuring these things.
Yeah.
We got some really cool stuff that's in the works over the course of the next 6 months or so. There's some ways that we can structure it to get them a lot of depreciation, offset a lot of their tax liability, I guess. So yeah, I'm fired up on that. I know over the course of the next 30 to 60 days, we're buying a lot of stuff, selling a lot of stuff, and just kind of putting all the pieces in place. But I think we're going to go on a tear by the end of the year and pick up a lot of doors with a lot of nice doors with some pretty cool strategies.
Yep.
You know, no, it's good.
It's like I see a lot of people go through this same process, which we did essentially the same thing. You start, you're wholesaling in D-class areas, D-class F areas.
Oh, dude.
Then you start wholesaling kind of C areas. Then you start wholesaling in like C, B areas and flipping a little bit too. Then you start flipping a little bit more. Then you realize you're a bad flipper.
Yeah.
Then you go
we
back.
Were horrible.
Then you go back to wholesale a little bit, and then you start buying some small multis. You go, hey, why don't we just go bigger? Then you buy medium and bigger, and then that's where we are now. I think there is one more step to this. I think that's becoming the money. I don't think we have any. I don't think we're in any rush to get to that. But I think that is the next logical step.
Of just having our own
$1
billion fund.
Yeah, I think
instead of owning $1 billion of assets, owning $1 billion fund.
I think that's the
cash.
end goal.
So then go like $5 to $10 billion of assets.
Or maybe not end goal, but I think that's the last stop. Is I don't know if there's anywhere necessarily to go from there.
Yeah, man. What do you think about the other commercial asset classes, like hotels, retail, hospitality, office, medical, student housing, short-term corporate rentals, and self-storage, warehouse, any of those? Like, what do you think? What are your thoughts on some of those other mobile home parks?
I'm biased, but I like multifamily. I like storage, and I like. I haven't done a mobile home park deal. I'd like to get into one to kind of see how it is. It's same with storage. We didn't get into storage until we had a home run deal, and we were able to pretty much go through the learning curve because we had such a good deal. We could screw up everything and still be all right.
Seller financing.
Yeah. But I mean, you look at COVID and stuff's obviously back for the most part now, but retail, office, student housing, all absolutely crushed last year.
Yeah.
Like absolutely. Hotels crushed.
But there's a lot of people like trying to buy hotels.
That being said, I think there's a lot of opportunity to pick up some of those at pennies on the dollar. I think those took huge hits, and people would sell those for big discounts.
And they are.
Back then.
Like, there's a lot of people buying hotels right now and trying to convert them into multifamily. But dude, you're living in a hotel. Who wants to rent a micro hotel room?
Yeah, you got to start splitting up rooms. You got a 200-unit hotel becomes a 100-unit. And that's only for 1 bedrooms. If you want 2 bedrooms in there, now you're down to 75 units. If that's what you do, like I was just watching one of your clips the other day, like we pretty much stay in our lane.
Yeah.
I have no interest in learning office or retail right now, or warehouse or anything. I just have no interest in it.
No, I agree. I think if there was a Grand Slam deal that came to us from an operating partner who was intimately knowledgeable in that market or in that asset class and had a ton of experience in that asset class, I think we would bring money, or maybe joint venture and maybe sponsored a loan or whatever in some capacity on that. But I don't think it's not something that we're seeking out right now. I would say if we saw multifamily, mobile home parks, I would buy mobile home parks. If there was a big enough mobile home park, I'd buy one. The cool thing about mobile home parks is like you get all the income, but like the expenses are so low because property taxes, there's no like building value, right? So like property taxes are inconsequential and not inconsequential, but like next to nothing. I don't know. I feel like there's other future development opportunity in some of that stuff, and so I would totally be into mobile home parks. We just haven't really set our sights on it. But we know some of the biggest mobile home buyers in the country. I think if we wanted to, we could probably get into that space pretty easily. But and even self-storage is cool, but I think it's going to be cannibalizing. It's going to start cannibalizing itself in a lot of different markets as well, with how much development there is.
Yeah, they're going everywhere.
Yeah, everybody's doing these feasibility studies, but they're not paying attention to how many other people are building in the same exact area at the same exact time. And it's just, I feel there's only a certain amount of the population that uses self-storage, and eventually it's just going to start cannibalizing, and nobody's going to get above 75, 80% occupancy, and it's going to fuck up everybody's numbers.
Yep.
So, I don't really, they just keep on making more people though, right? And they keep on making, you go down to the hospital, they're making more people right now, they just keep coming. And so I just feel like, as long as the population keeps growing, multifamily is going to be heavy, and the market shifts. A lot of those luxury renters move into more of a workforce in an A or B class type neighborhood. They're just not paying $2,500 a month in rent. They're paying $1,500, and that's right in our wheelhouse. I want to stay in that $1,000 to $1,500 a month rent, maybe $800 to $1,500 a month in rent. If we stay in that pocket, I think we're in a pretty good spot, man. That's where I want to stay. And I like the Sun Belt. I like the South. It just doesn't get beat up by the snow and the ice and the freezing temperatures and all that kind of stuff like the North and the Northeast and the Midwest and stuff does. But and we're down there, and I'm down there. We have joint venture partners that are down there. We have a lot of resources in that Sun Belt area, so it makes it a little bit easier for us to operate in some of those markets. So yeah, man, I think we just stick to that. What is the next? We'll kind of wrap with this. What does the next 24 to 36 months look like in your perspective, in your vision? What would you like it to look like?
I would like, if we were at 24, 30, if we picked up another 3,000 really nice units, or nice units, I think which is extremely doable.
Yeah, totally.
I think we'll probably hit that in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
But 3,000 nice units, you're done. You don't got to do anything.
Yeah.
You're set. It has to be nice stuff though.
Yeah.
It's got to be nice stuff, probably built in the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I'd say 20.
And you just ride it out.
Yeah, I think for me it's I don't know, man. I got the $1 billion portfolio mark in my just burned into my brain. So I know we're selling some stuff, and we're north of 400 million now, but we're going to sell about 100 million. Be back at 3. It's going to be around 10,000 doors, but it could be less. If we get some really nice stuff that rents for closer to $1,500 a month, that's probably going to be valued around $200,000 a door. You don't need that much, right?
Yeah.
Hit $1 billion. We just need to go pick up 3,000 to 4,000 units, and we could probably hit $1 billion in portfolio value in about 7,000 or 8,000 doors if we get nicer stuff. Or it's going to be around 10,000 doors with the stuff that we're currently, the B minus, B plus kind of stuff that we're buying. That's worth somewhere between 80 to 120,000.
Yeah, I think that 75 to 125 a door range is really good.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're spending most of our time right now. I would like to get in some nicer stuff, some bigger stuff. That's a little bit higher rent, but not necessarily luxury. I don't really want to be in that space at all.
Yeah, couple thousand more doors. I don't necessarily have the $1 billion mark on my mind, but I know the team does, so I'm all for it.
I want to hit $1 billion in portfolio value just to be able to say we got $1 billion. I just feel like it gives you a little bit more credibility in the space, even more so than we already have. And at the same time, that allows us to then get into some other stuff. Not saying we want to take our off the ball, but I think maybe it's that next level of starting a fund that we go and raise $500 million or $1 billion of equity, of cash, to then go and deploy in people's deals, and we become more the bank in that regard and less the operator. The other thing I like the idea of rolling up companies too that aren't even real estate. I think we can make a lot of money. I think we have the infrastructure, we have the team, we have the human resources, we have the operations, we have we understand business, right? And it transcends just real estate and commercial real estate. Just like there's distressed real estate out there, there's distressed businesses out there. And we can go take a $5 million a year company, turn it into a $50 million a year company, which you can't really do if you buy a $5 million building. Maybe you can turn it into a $10 million building, right? But you can't really turn it into a $50 million building because it's just, you're capped based on the square footage and the footprint of the building. So that's kind of next on the horizon. Once we hit I'm not taking my eye off the ball until we hit $1 billion in portfolio value. And then once we do, then it's we're going to start taking a look at how do we not make tens of millions of dollars? How do we make hundreds of millions and billions of dollars? That's the next move. You in?
I'm here. That's right.
And here's what's important. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, says Wayne Gretzky. Actually
Michael
says
Scott.
Michael Scott. So, all right, brother, dude. Appreciate you being part of the team.
Thank you.
Love you, man, and excited to see, like, dude, we've come a long way in the past 6 years. Can you imagine where we're going to be in the next 6? It's going to be insane.
It's wild to think about. It is wild to think about. Everything, it's only been 5 years, and we've done a lot.
Dude, more than most people do in 3 lifetimes, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
imagine another 5, 10, 15.
not saying that in a bragging way, just saying it in a very grateful and like reflective way of, dude, we've done some.
Yeah, it hasn't all been good.
No, a lot of it's been. There's been a lot more bad days or mediocre days, and there's been good days for sure. But those good days are so good, man. They make all the other ones worth it. So, good stuff, dude. Until next time, appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Awesome, ton of value, ton of fun. The kid's an absolute animal, and he's just getting started, right? He's in his mid-late 20s right now, and has a lot of runway ahead of him. And I'm excited for and appreciate what he's done for our organization and him being part of the organization, and excited for everything that's going to be coming down the pipeline with the entire team. So if you got a lot of value from this, please share it, with somebody else who's going to get some value. Please please give me some comments below. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts and what your biggest takeaways were. And hit the notifications bell and subscribe so that way you get all the future episodes of Spill the Beans every Sunday as we release these. So appreciate you. Be your best.